Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Anderson, doing the last webinar of 2018. Now, thank you all for coming on the call, and I see that we have phenomenal attendance tonight. All of you guys should be celebrating New Year's with your loved ones. What are you doing here? I mean, I've got to work to make sure that I support you, but fine, you guys too as well. I see that we have Pakistan in the building, and we have Dubai in the building, and we have Egypt there. Congratulations, nice to see you all. Oh, Amjad, it's love to see you on the call. We have Finland there, and Germany, and we have, I'm just going through the names. Oh, there's Morocco, and then we have, I think that's Cote d'Ivoire. We have England, of course, the UK, and we have there's another, I think that's South African, Nigerian, and we have, oh, Philippines is in the building. We have Guadeloupe in the building. We have Slovenia. Nice to see you all. We have France. Yeah, that must be France. Yep. And we have another Finnish person there. Fantastic. Unless it's one of the Baltic states. We then have apologies due for everyone that I've missed because I didn't recognize your name and knew which country to associate that with. But we also have, I know so many of these names, and I do know where you come from. Oh, there's another one from Austria. And we have, did I mention Philippines? Oh, and there is Trinidad has entered the building. Lovely to see you, Robin. And just going through to see if there's anything else that leaps out. If I have missed your country, I apologize. It's not because I actually know which country that you're from by name only. But I recognize so many of the names, and it's lovely to see you. Nepal is here because I'm now cheating and looking in the question box. Nepal is in the building. Algeria is in the building. Kashmir is in the building. So good for you. But so today is the last day of 2018, and for me, New Year's Eve has always had a special place in the calendar because it's kind of out with the old and in with the new. So what I really want to do on this webinar today is share with you some of the stuff that's been going on in 2018 and some of the stuff that is being put in place now for 2019. Now, and this sort of New Year's Eve is always that time for me when I sort of look back and I look forward, take stock, and consider again what's important in my life, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve, what my goals are, and kind of take a stock against that in terms of the 365 days that have gone past. Now, for 52 weeks, every Monday night, we've been running this webinar, and I think I'm just plucking a number out of the sky, but I should think I've been on this call 40 or 45 times this year. So it's something that I take very, very seriously to communicate with you guys and try to fulfill this commitment to you of having a transparent and honest company that communicates and lets you know what's going on. And I think that this is not too big a job for the CEO. I think it's important that especially on the corporate machine side, that we recognize where our bread and butter comes from, that we recognize that the success that we have is based on, how shall I say, your efforts and your commitment and how well we service your needs. So I've done this webinar 2 hours ago for the Chinese, and I'll do it again for you. But 2018, without putting too fine a point on it, has been a tough year, both for me personally and certainly for the company as well. It's not been a bed of roses. We've gone through a situation where the digital currency space has gone through an almighty market crash, and is certainly not through the woods on that yet. We were doing a bit of a stock take on the DMS service. I'll mention some of those numbers to you when we get to that part of the presentation. But it's been a tough year. Politically in the world, it's been a weird year. I'm not going to mention any US president by name, but I think there's an awful lot of madness in the world at the moment, and there's kind of trade wars between the two biggest economic superpowers of the world. And the knock-on effect of that is uncertainty in stock markets and what have you. And in that space, there has been an awful lot of shake-up of different markets and industries. The direct selling industry in 2018 saw an awful lot of companies kind of fall by the wayside, and even if they haven't collapsed, although there's a good few examples of things that have collapsed, there's also a real sense that this has been a tough year. Having said that, the direct selling industry is always buoyant, and for the last sort of 10 years, the industry has grown by almost 10% every year. And I'm sure that will be true again this year, because in times of trouble, the industry does well, because it appeals to a different sort of segment and a different market where people are looking for opportunity. At the same time, digital currencies has seen so much turmoil and so much shake-up that literally thousands of alternative coins have bit the dust and fallen by. And just to survive as a direct selling company and as a digital currency champion for our Leo coin, that in itself is no small feat. Now, it's not been easy. It's not been, it's like I say, it's not been a bed of roses. But that's what real looks like when you're fighting and trying to build a business. Not every week and every month and every year is going to be a never-ending story of success upon success upon success. So we've certainly had to fight for every inch of ground that we've made up. But on the other hand, we've also had an extraordinary year. There's been many challenges that I faced on a personal level, and all of those challenges turn into blessings one way or the other. I think that one of the things that I've learned in life is that when you are challenged, when the weather is blowing, when there is a storm brewing, you hold your head up high and you stand for what you believe in, and you fight for that, and the universe will support you. This year for me has been full of blessings. I'm closer than I've ever been to my family. My wife and I celebrating her birthday today. There is just so much love in the building. That is remarkable. I just count my blessings every day when I consider how lucky I am to have such a lovely family. I've got fit this year. I've actually lost something like 15 kilos, and I'm in more physical and better shape than I have been for the last 20 years. And there's some absolutely terrifying before and after pictures, which I will not share with you, but I may do in the future at one of our training events, where I talk about setting personal goals and achieving those. So we've also had a fantastic year in terms of how the leadership has come together and is working as one cohesive unit, building a disparate global business. So some of our UK field are doing extraordinary things in different countries, in particular in Africa. Our South Asian business and our Middle Eastern business is expanding. We're going into new markets. We've got great things happening in Scandinavia, and again expanding from there into the Eastern former Russian Soviet Union bloc, and great things happening there. We are holding our own in some of our markets where that said, we are dealing with legacy issues and what have you. And I really thank all of the members who've gone through this tough year with us and are still here. And many of you, well, looking at the numbers, a record number of you on this call, it's just kind of been one of those years when, yeah, how should I say? Tough times never last, but tough people do. And I have a real sense that the business in 2019 is going to turn a corner. But let's do a little stock take and see what we have done in 2018, which starts then in January with the launch of the new Hong Kong office. This was a wonderful little event that we did over there with some of our old friends and new friends coming together into this extraordinary 8-sided building for luck in Chinese, and it was a great thing. And our Asia Pacific team are sort of running these offices, and they've been very auspicious and very, very lucky and very, very cool for us. We launched Leo Gold, and we were very, very pleased with how that launch worked out. We're still looking for a few factors in the marketing of that to hit the right spot, because this is something that we did in anticipation of a cryptocurrency backed by gold kind of thing, but there's a few day 7 things that we're still working on, and for reasons beyond our control have been delayed. So gold is there, gold is good, don't forget about it, even if you're not focusing on it at the moment, but this is kind of part of the big play for later on this year, 2019. We did the Digital Currency Day. We launched a day into the calendar at the House of Commons in London, and me here was interviewed by one of the biggest UK business programs on radio, a national radio show on Radio 2, heard by something on the order of 16 or 18 million people talking about Leo coin and digital currencies and Bitcoin, etc. So that was a great day for us. We also, at the same time, all of this is happening parallel, and this is the most extraordinary thing about Leo, is that we are doing big things over here, and at the same time, big things are happening over there. So I went to Cameroon and had a wonderful time over there. I was interviewed by radio, by television. I went on a television show, which was an experience like I've never had before. And that was just absolutely extraordinary. At the same time, we launched Leo Smart 4, and as you can see from your screenshots here, this is something that is well worth downloading and using because it is wonderful. We launched Leo Elite Plus and the Leo Coin Wallet, again, to rave reviews and fantastic functionality and cool things that we can do on that. That was 2018. Finland, I've mentioned Finland. We got great things happening in Finland, and Rauno and his team are doing good business, and we've been over there to support that fledgling market. We launched Leo Commemorative Coin, and I love this because this is like a gold bullion. This is then a 1-ounce coin of fine gold, and branded appropriately for our Leo business and our plans for world domination. But we kind of did social responsibility stuff as well, and really, how shall I say, very pleased how we could use the Leo Crowd platform to fund and finance drilling wells in Burkina Faso, and something on the order of, from memory now, because this is almost a year ago, 8 wells were built into villages where they had no well before, changing the fabric of those communities, and just doing good work. So a lot of credit and recognition to David Johnston, the head of the Leo Crowd project, and a little bit more about that later. But again, good work that we should be very proud of doing. We also went as a kind of byproduct of some of our executives having visa issues for one of the events, the executive trip that we wanted them to do. So we kind of pulled everything out of the hat and pulled out all the stops and said, let's go to Nepal. And we took them, if you remember, on this wonderful trip to the top, to the base camp of Mount Everest. And that was the first time that I'd ever been to Nepal. We met the local people, and kind of Nepal itself made a big impression on us, because it's a tough country, challenging, landlocked, cold, or sometimes sort of unfriendly neighbors all around it. And this little country in the middle full of the most lovely people. And this became the seed of something that I'm going to talk about later. But so the Nepal trip was actually quite important. We updated constantly our infrastructure, and the website went through a big update in the first quarter of the year. We did a crypto expo in Manila. Me here flew over there to talk about Leo coin and digital currencies and Bitcoin and the whole ecosystem. Fantastic event. We launched at the same time, almost simultaneously, an all-party parliamentary group on digital currencies, so an APPG. And this is a thing in UK governance, where the parties, regardless of their political lines, be they Labour or Tory or Liberals, come together to work on different important issues that cut across party divisions. And so this APPG on digital currencies, the Digital Currency Foundation and Mihir Magudia are providing the secretariat for that and kind of helping them set direction. So these pictures that you see is a bunch of stakeholders in digital currencies in the UK and members of parliament. And it was very, very impressive to see how interested they were. These parliamentarians were so keen and enthusiastic about this, yet knew very, very little. So part of our educational landscape is to provide kind of support for government in the UK to help them understand so that they don't make mistakes in terms of how they approach digital currency. So very, very proud of that. I went to Pakistan and was welcomed like you would not believe, the long lost son. They gave me so many flower garlands to wear around my neck that I think I was going to have a workplace accident, because I was just gradually getting smothered in flowers. But it was a wonderful event in Lahore. We had 1,000 people there or something like this, and I was able to share with them some of my ideas on entrepreneurship, and this was a training event, it was a live seminar. But I love the energy in Pakistan. I love the people in Pakistan. They have such good spirits and such kind of passion for taking their country forward, and so all power to them. Very, very cool. At the same time, Andy Hansen did his first trip to Istanbul in Turkey, and there was a fair amount of support from that, from the French and from the UK folk, and from all over the place, really. Guadeloupe even. Terrific event, and the start of something big in Turkey. I'm sure that there are some Turkish people on this call, and I've got my eyes on you, and I know what you guys are up to, and that big things are starting to come through, because we've got some very, very cool people there who are just somewhat disillusioned about some of the money games and scams that have been going through in Turkey. And the idea that we can have a proper business and a real business centered around digital currencies is just starting to land on very fertile ground indeed. Then we had the Momentum Tour of China and Hong Kong, and Andy, me here, Bernard, Wendy were all there, and a fantastic few days was had about that, and it was quite cool, because some of the things that happened there kind of echoed forward into the market and gave us massive momentum. The Mauritius Carnival, as you know, this was the biggest conference that the company has ever done, and we took over this Club Med facility in Mauritius, branded it up all with Leo, did trainings with the leaders, did lifestyle events, had such good fun, evening events and parties and theatre and spectacles and goodness knows what else. And we also had motivational speakers there in the shape of Talon Skills Piggins, who's a personal friend of my wife from her childhood. So there was kind of a real sense of circles coming together there. But that was 2018. We awarded in these 6 categories for outstanding achievements: Stone for best trainer, Liaquat for his outstanding achievement of rebuilding his markets. We had Fast Start people that did extraordinary when they went forward with their business. And this older gentleman, his special achievement was that he's kind of got some health issues and is suffering from some very, very sad projections in terms of his health and life expectancy, yet started Leo and did phenomenally well with it. Of course, the one, the only, our Rachel from the Philippines, my good close friend who sends me all sorts of lovely messages and just adore her. I took it upon myself to give her the Founder Award, because none other would be so well deserving. And of course, then we have our Pakistani leader there, Aziz, I think, or is it Adil? I can't remember. But congratulations to you, because you again are so deserving of this direct sales award, because his sales achievement was remarkable. So that was Mauritius, and then without pausing for breath, we went to Abidjan on the Ivory Coast, and Andy Hansen and a core team of corporates went there, and as you can see, fantastic energy, fantastic events. And for years, I've been saying that just watch out, wait for Africa, because Africa will knock not just direct selling, not just Leo's socks off, but as Africa enters into the modern market economy, they are going to show us all what they can do. And I've known this for a long time, and I'm just very glad to be part of pioneering in Africa. Yaoundé in Cameroon, Andy went over there. The French leaders were in full swing and full support, and again, fantastic people and well deserving. The Pakistan Chamber of Commerce Awards, the FPCCI, awarded me as brand guru for Leo. They awarded our sales agency there, Humanitas Meritus in Karachi, for best online portal in e-learning. Out of all the entries that came into that category, our sales affiliate was the #1 recipient of this award. So this is kind of, again, a big deal, because the FPCCI is the Federation of Pakistan, a 200 million people country. All of the Chamber of Commerce, on a local level and on a regional level, on a national level, they have this federation. And so when they give an award, this is a big deal. So very proud to be part of that event. And then Wendy Lee and Waka Sohail joined the Leo board on the UK company, and very proud to be working with them as board directors, because they add value. They represent their markets and their regions. They represent their companies in those regions, and do phenomenally well at making sure that the company in the UK looks after the needs of all of their members, all of you guys. So very proud to share that with you. That happened in 2018. Then we have all of this stuff that almost happens every week, where our Chinese community in Hong Kong, and then through them our Chinese community in China, they are doing all sorts of community activities around Leo Coin and around Leo, and some of these events are quite small, and you'll see several examples of them here in this presentation. But they launched the first Leo Coin store in Toronto. Then we had a live seminar in London, and the reason we're jumping back and forth is reflecting the nature of our business, because like I said before, when there's something happening here, there's something happening there, and running a global business with a 24/7 time clock is a challenging thing, and it's a rewarding thing. So there's always something going on. Paul Southworth, for those of you who don't know him, he's the advisor to the UK company board. He's got 17 years of being the CEO for Avon Europe. That's the biggest direct selling company in the world, and our board advisor was the CEO of that company for 17 years. And then he was the chairman of the UK DSA, as well as being a top executive in the federal European DSAs. So having the advice and experience and kudos of someone like that on our board is fantastic. To then have that man willing and enthusiastic about delivering live seminars for us is even more amazing. So very cool. Again, while all of this exciting field-facing stuff is going on, at the same time the corporate teams are working extremely hard on improving the user experience of all of our platforms and all of our backbone, if you like. I saw earlier that Stephanie Drabble was on this call, and she's our project manager who joined us and has been working resolutely during 2018 to lift up our project management skills and making sure that we deliver as a corporate machine. Been very cool to see how we've got better and better as an organization. Then we had a new Leo store open in Hebei in Tangjiang. Then we had a Leo store open in Puqian in Fujian. Then we launched Leo Coin 3 and the roadmap. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit, because the digital market space has gone through the most extraordinary year. When we launched, for instance, the DMS 12 months ago, the digital market space in terms of Bitcoin was sort of at $20,000. That's now dropped down to $3,800. I checked earlier today. So that is a severe contraction of the market. The impact of that has led to the mining industry really suffering, because it's harder and harder to find good deals to mine. And so many players have left the industry and been blown out because the market conditions no longer support their business model. If Bitcoin is suffering, all of the altcoins are suffering. So this has started with a massive bang, if you like, and we were right on cue with our service on the DMS, and then gradually the market conditions have been eroding down. I mean, it's a miracle that we're managing to pull together the level of return that members are getting even now, but it is not where we started. One of the we were doing analysis on this, and I'll share that with you now. With the contraction of the Bitcoin market, the members that started, the early bird gets the worm, as you know, they obviously had great benefits compared to other people. But we've just concluded the first 12 months of DMS. And those people that were there and took a chance in the beginning, when this was not a proven service, or when people didn't understand what it was, they've received, over the last 12 months, £1,700 worth of digital assets as measured on a month-by-month reward basis. So that's kind of a bit extraordinary if you consider that we then run the plan out of the same money that we receive. But even more bizarre when it comes to digital currencies is how the market has changed so much. Because when we launched this, if the Ethereum prices had stayed the same over the year and the rewards had stayed at the level that we thought that we would be able to support, we would have had given you £4,400 worth of DMS award on Ethereum. Doing the same analysis for Bitcoin, the reward, if the prices had stayed the same as when we launched it, knowing what we know now with hindsight is fine, but it is what it is, would have been 4,240. Now, if you consider that the rewards now are lower, you might be sort of thinking, oh, this is all terribly sad and I'm always unlucky. No, hold on a little bit. My view of the digital landscape is that this is far from played out, and I think that Bitcoin during 2019 will have a massive resurgence. When you look at people who are vested in this space and who've been here for longer than I have, I only joined in 2014, they are talking extraordinary futures for Bitcoin, for instance, where they're sort of saying, no, it's going to go back up to the 20,000 that it was at. It's going to go beyond that to 30,000. It's going to go beyond that to. And some of the numbers are just absolutely mind-blowing. So here's what the sensible people do. They look at how much Bitcoin they had to use to purchase the service and how much Bitcoin the service has given them. So for those people who have completed their first 12 months, I'll share this with you, and this will blow your brains out. They paid 0.084 Bitcoin for the service when it started. In the 12 months, they have received 0.29. So 0.084 to 0.29. They've actually received 3 times the amount of Bitcoin as they paid for it. If they then just hold on to those Bitcoin that they've received instead of cashing out when the market is at its lowest, because that's never when you sell, they will have done so well out of this. So it's all a bit nuts, and digital currencies doesn't follow the expectations of traditional thinking. And I'm really kind of inspired to be in this space, because I want to tell this story when I'm a little old man in 50 years. But the Leocoin 3 roadmap, then what about that? Well, we've had a few setbacks. We had some concerns about security on Ethereum. There was a few vulnerabilities exposed. We took a little bit of a back step, but we're working on everything, and by the end of January, as I promised you, we will have the first launch of this whole new ecosystem, and it's going to be very, very cool indeed. Now, what we need to do is go out and build our community, because the value of Bitcoin will always relate to the size of the community and the size of the economy behind it. There's no shortcut to that. There's no magic money here. What this is a brute force approach to digital currency, where we think that by building a community, by training that community, by sharing the recruitment strategies of that with that community, that's how we're going to win here. So it's about, again, this sort of notion of standing tall in a storm, because of course we're looking at the price of Leo coin, and yeah, we're sort of thinking, but Leo coin launched in 2014. For Leo coin to be here still and still have a value on external exchanges and still have an internal platform that's doing well, that in itself is a triumph. Just to survive in 2018, if you came from a certain industry, is an achievement. So we are fine. The upside of the downside, if I put it that way, is that the people who bought into the LMS and what have you have received a significant Leo coin value in terms of the amount of coins that they've gotten, and just kind of seeing the price of Leo coin going from its paltry low levels now up to a higher place, you can easily see that you can double, 4-double, 8-double, 16-double the amount of your holdings just by a very, very small market movement. So we're kind of good. No promises, and I certainly can't promise anything, because that would be irresponsible, but we are doing our level best and what we promised to do. And so when Leo coin 3 comes, it will be more than you expected. And next week, on the 7th of January, there will be a very, very important webinar where we're going through some of the Leo coin 3 updates before the launch at the end of January. Product packs were all constantly launched and constantly re-engineered for the marketplace, trying to improve the value that people receive from our core product lines. We also had more online shopping with Leo coin, driven by the community, not by the company. So these things are important, because it's not us that will drive this forward, it is you and the community. We then had the Leaders Summit in September, the first week of September in the UK, and this for us was a very, very proud occasion to invite our leaders to the UK, to show them the office, to share with them a quintessential English experience, even to the point of them meeting the Queen, which caused some amusement for us, because we had a wonderful experience in a chateau and a castle where the Queen of England came to attend and visit our event. And people were so appreciative of her making time out of her busy schedule for an 80, whatever she is, year old woman, that they actually thought it was the real Queen, but of course it wasn't. So that's kind of English sense of humor and having a laugh as well. So that's also part of the English experience. So but that was a wonderful week. Then during that week in December, no, that was it was earlier than that, where the Hilly School, the Haile School in Nepal opened, and this is something I want to talk about a little bit further on, because Leo Charity launched a support project, a sort of a social community thing, where we, having been to Nepal, having seen this wonderful country with these wonderful people, we wanted to get involved and see if we could do something as an organization to sort of just make some sort of difference. We found this charity, and I'll share with you some pictures and some of the background story for that. But that launched then. Then we did an executive trip to Morocco. Then we did a live seminar in Guadeloupe. Then we did one in Finland. Then we did the Direct Selling Awards by the DSA. And two of our UK leaders, Amir Balash and Dr. Kamrul, received the awards for best direct seller in the UK. Went to our company in one of these award categories, and we were just incredibly proud of that. And this was attended again by Paul Southworth and other senior executives in our company. And again, flying the flag for Leo in the UK, our home market, where the Direct Selling Association is one of the best ones in the world, recognizing two of our leaders for their professionalism and hard work. Very, very nice. Leo Property Crowd launched. David Johnston, our managing director who I mentioned before, the chap who went to Burkina Faso to drill wells, he's a passionate kind of social entrepreneur as well, has launched Leo Property Crowd, which has got full FCA approval. So this is again something that's important for you to take home. We've launched a property crowd where we can now attract investments, and we can do things in a proper way, approved within the regulatory landscape of the UK, in a way that we're not one of these companies that are sneaking around in the bushes and doing tricky things. This is real, and it's regulated by the highest financial authority, certainly in the UK, maybe in the world, has approved how we do business with Leo Property Crowd. So very, very cool. But then me here, Camilla and Sergey, our camera guy, went to Nepal again. And I want to talk about this because some of our big achievements with the Houses of Parliament and with the FSA and our sales records and all of this, none of that is important compared to this. One community in Nepal, in fact two communities, because they built the school in the middle of two communities, has now got a school facility for 300 pupils that are going through education. And these kids that you can see on the pictures here, they are the first generation in that community as a whole that has had access to any form of formal education. So we found a charity. The charity was working with Nepalese government and schooling authorities. They had a site that they negotiated together with the local community. And we built this school and provided funding for it for 1 year for teachers and for everything that goes with running a school for 300 kids for a year. This we paid 100% of the costs for. So we're not a small contributor here. We're not a 10% contributor. We're not a pot of people that come together and we're trying to take glory. No. Leo and you paid 100% of the costs of this school. Now, if you think about the impact that that can have on a community, where a whole community, a whole generation get education for the first time, we have changed lives in ways that will be impossible for us to even guess today. But there'll be people who tell stories in 10 years time, 20 years time, 30 years time, because you all know, do you remember your time in primary school? Do you remember the time that you went to school? We've provided that experience to these 300 kids this year, and then 300 kids next year, and then 300 kids the years after that. So we have changed a community's future by doing good work. So very, very, very proud. And this, for me, is what social entrepreneurship is about. This is where one of the directions that I want to take Leo in to, because if we can build one school, we can build two. And if we can build two, we can do five. And if we can do five, we can do 10. And then we can do them in Africa, in South Asia, in China, in the Philippines, anywhere in the world where there's a need. We, through our business model, can help with that need. So this is one of the things that we are launching very, very quickly, because I see this happening in January. I see this happening in January, that we're going to launch a social entrepreneurship program built around some of these concepts. And that means that Leo members can become fundraisers and can then do some amazing, amazing work. And if you look at this school that we've built, and you look at where it is in the middle of nowhere, a 12-hour drive away, the contribution that we're making and the setting for this kind of tells the whole story. It's just something that, as CEO of this, I am fiercely proud of, and it's the biggest achievement that we've done in Leo since the start of Leo, and I want to do this again and again and again. So the mix and marriage of this from from primary school education into our adult education and the live seminars that we do. The contrast between those two things is best illustrated by this photo, because we did a live seminar in Dubai. Andy Hansen, our secret weapon, and Waka Sohail went over and did the training. We had delegates there from the government, from one of the Minister of Youth's office, and Youth and Entrepreneurship, I believe, who was so impressed with the quality of the training and the content that we shared that they invited us to come and tell them more about how we can collaborate and work together. So this is kind of, again, very, very cool. We did the same live seminar program in Turkey, where again, great things are happening in Turkey. We have then our sights on 2019. The event schedule for this is already absolutely mind-blowing, from Brazil to many live seminars, to executives to Cambodia, our momentum conferences that we're doing, and the LeoCoin 3 events that we've got planning. We're going to have a very, very busy 2019. All of that is fine, but then you start to consider how much is happening in real time. Today is New Year's Eve. And of course, New Year's Eve, no one's thinking about business on New Year's Eve, because this is kind of the end of the old year and the beginning of the new year, and celebrations and fireworks and goodness knows what else. But just in the last few days, we have such an active leadership group in our business, because in 2018, these people here are the tip of the iceberg of a massive global organization. 35 of our members reached the director rank, 10 members reached the marketing director rank, 5 members reached national marketing director, 2 regional, and 1 member global marketing director during this year, which is no small achievement. Now, if you look at these people, they are a who's who of people in the world. It's a United Nations of people working together, and this is the most important work that we do. That we connect people from China with people from Pakistan, from the Middle East, from America, from South America, from Europe, from France, from Africa. This is what the business is, because we have people who work together. Now, we are not a perfect business. We certainly have our challenges. We do the best we can, but we have a perfect idea. And when we come together as a group, it is just very, very cool to see how so many things unite us and so few things separate us. And so this is what I was referring to at the beginning of this call with regard to 2018. There seems to be forces trying to drive wedges between people, seems to be forces trying to build walls between people. And what Leo is a business that builds bridges between people. And I love that, and I'm very, very proud of all that we're achieving there. So during 2018, we also reported on over 100 member-run events, and that's again just the tip of the iceberg, because for every one of those 100 events that we reported on a webinar, there's another 10 that are running out there by people that don't send us the pictures, or they're too small, or they're just not heard of ever again. But just in the last few days, this amazing leadership group and this amazing field have run events all over the place. This is South Africa on the 29th of December. That's 2 days ago. There were events, and forgive me if I get the locations wrong, but there was events in Durban, Johannesburg, what's the name of the other place? Pretoria? Yeah, Pretoria. And there's a leadership group emerging in South Africa under Maggie and Mel Nunlanda. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the lady in the top right-hand corner there is married to Stanley. So Maggie and Stanley Ndaba. They are a powerhouse that actually came to the UK offices and came back to Africa and went executive within about 5 minutes. And so this is 2 days ago in South Africa, things happening and things exploding. And this is under Dr. Kamrul in the UK and Charlie and Ash, who I'll get to in a minute, because I have kind of a thing that I was notified about 8 minutes before this webinar, which is that Charlie and Ash have gone a marketing director. They just recently, some 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, went director, and suddenly they just got this momentum in their business, and they've gone marketing director in the last like 10 minutes before this webinar. So the official recognition will come through in the next webinar that we do next week, I'm sure. But I was very, very, very pleased to get the notification about that, because the team from the UK is doing great things in Africa, and it's great to see how Africa is responding to our Leo business. So well done, all of you guys, for sharing. At the same time, a day later in Karachi, that's yesterday, we had 1,200 people come for a live seminar on entrepreneurship, delivered by one of my favorite trainers of my life. My whole world rocks around this guy called Dr. Moyes, because he is like me, he's an NLP practitioner at a very, very high level. He's got a big media following in Pakistan. He's on television here, national television, every week. And of course, he plays the game, and he's a very charming man and very, very funny. And of course, it's Christmas, so why shouldn't he wear a wonderful Christmas jumper? So all power to you, Dr. Moyes, and well done, everyone in Karachi. And just 1,200 people coming the day before New Year's Eve is quite remarkable. But it's not over yet, because today, Liaquat Margray was given one of the highest accolades of his career, which is that the International Organization of Who's Who, you might have heard of them, they have a global franchise on this, and the South Asian division of that awarded Liaquat Margray in a particular field. And this happened today in Karachi. And if you look at the certificate on the right-hand side there, he is recognized as being a global marketing director of Leo, Learning Enterprise Organization. And in the Who's Who's professional category, he was given the achievement of Network Marketing Guru. And I'm going to tell you that there is no one more deserving of this accolade than Liaquat Margray. He is passionate about this industry. He is passionate about what he can do for his people. He's got a leadership group absolutely adore him and love him, because he has got such a genuine heart. He doesn't think, he's not motivated by his wallet. He's only motivated by the success that his people can get. And I know Liaquat Margray really, really well. He's one of the best human beings I have in my entire life. And I'm very, very proud to call him my brother, Liaquat Bhai, because he is just one of these people that you can't but help be inspired by his commitment to his people, his commitment to this industry. And he was given this award by Barrister Farrokh Naseem, who is the Federal Minister of Law and Justice in the Pakistani government. So a Minister for Law and Justice gave Liaquat Margray this award today in Karachi. And Liaquat flew back, and hauntingly, as fate would have it, guess who's sitting next to him on the airplane? Oh, it's this federal minister, Mr. Naseem. And so Liaquat has him at his undivided attention for 2 hours on the flight from Karachi to Islamabad, and kind of helps him to understand how desperately direct selling is in need of regulation in Pakistan, and to define what good looks like and what is legal and not legal in this country, because there are so many scams that are running around or throughout all of South Asia and in many, many markets, but certainly in Pakistan as well. And so Liaquat now has an open door in to discuss regulation for direct selling in Pakistan. So fantastic result, and really congratulations, Liaquat, from all of us in the company. Fantastic achievement, and well done. And who's who in network marketing today? Network marketing guru Liaquat Ali Margray. So all of that is fantastic. So 2018, like I said before, was a tough year, many challenges, many different things to fight against, many reasons to stand up and stand tall. But when all of that's going on, again, you can see this list. There was so much Leo delivery on the corporate side. It is just unbelievable. This is just a small list quickly put together. It can go on for page after page after page, because we have this fantastic IT team, this project management team, an operational team, our member support services, the finance, everything is working together to deliver for you a better and better business. I hope that all of you appreciate the hard work that goes into building a real business and not something hanky-panky. So if we take all of that together, and I do apologize for going on here, but it's kind of an important thing to recognize where we've come from and to give some thought to where we're going. As we go forward, now is a good time to do New Year's resolutions. And I'm not going to tell you to work harder and speak to more people and all of this. I'm just going to suggest to you that this is a time to become consciously aware of what do you want to achieve in 2019. What do you want to achieve in your life going forward? Every great achievement, every great achiever starts by recognizing what it is that he or she wants to achieve. Because you will never be given a free lunch. You will never have success land in your lap. You have to go out and work for it. Therefore, if you have to work for it, the person who works the hardest invariably wins. That means that if you need to find something that's going to be your vehicle for success, you have to find something that you're passionate about and burn for, because you're going to have to put in a lot of time. When I first saw the direct selling industry in 1989, I knew that this would change my life, because there was the inherent promise of this industry to help the ordinary person achieve extraordinary results. That for me was it. And I realized that this would just change my life in ways that would be impossible to predict in 1989. And since then I've been going around for 30 years and passionate about this industry. I'm still passionate about this industry, warts and all. There is no better platform if you want to help the common man. If you forget about your own rewards, if you forget about your own incomes, you think about what this can do for people. We can open the door to people's financial futures, their success futures, the things that they want to teach their families and their children. They can learn and gain all of those things in this company with Leo, in this industry called direct selling. I have an awful lot of passion for this, because despite all the challenges and despite the tough times that you invariably have to go through, this industry changes people and takes them to a better place if they let it. So when all is said and done, you need to set your goals, you need to work out what it is that you want to achieve, and you need to accept that the opportunity is never perfect. You just have to go out there and do what you have to do. 2019, we are going to do everything we can from the company side to give you the best platform in the world. We're launching a major new project around social entrepreneurship. Look it up on the internet. It's one of the biggest buzzwords ever, where you can, through different projects, create value in your community, in your country, in your continent, in your world. That's what I want to do with Leo, and it's kind of a big idea that I've never seen done before. That's one thing. The second thing that we're doing is something in property development that is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Both of those projects are coming through in the next few weeks. 2019 is going to be a roller coaster ride that's going to be amazing. And one of the things that we've always taught you, one of the things that I'm a firm believer in, is that the early bird gets the worm. You need to be one of those people that grabs that first mover advantage and moves your business forward quickly, because there's a timing to this, as we demonstrate over and over again over the 7 years that we've been going as a company. The people who move are always the people who benefit. So I would suggest on New Year's Eve 2018, going into New Year's Day 2019, that you spend some time thinking about your year going past and your year going forward, thinking about your family, thinking about the people that you love and care about, and commit to look after yourself and those people. And do that through whatever channel is available to you. And if it's Leo, I promise you this, we will do everything we can for this to be an honest platform for you with long-term potential. So I wish you a very, very happy new year. I love this day of the year because there's so much joy and excitement around. There's so much potential. There's so much hope for the future that maybe the future won't be the same as the past. Certainly, I know that we're turning over a new leaf in Leo, and I know who you are. I know who's with us, and I will do everything I can to serve you. So this is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much indeed for your kind attention on New Year's Eve. I look forward to our first webinar of 2019 on the 7th of January. This will be some hard updates and some very, very specific information around LeoCoin 3 and maybe a few more things as well that we're going to reveal to you on the 7th. So this is the big one for launching the year with. But so this is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much indeed for your hard work, for your commitment, and for listening to me here this evening. Thank you very much indeed, and good night. Happy New Year to all of you.